Okay, so continuing on there with exercise 1.6, we're looking to sketch cubic functions this time. Now, cubic functions have this kind of a shape. A positive cubic is going to start at minus infinity down here, work all the way up, cut the x-axis typically once, twice, and 3 times. That's if A is positive. Now, if you have a negative cubic, it starts here on the plus infinity on the y-axis, comes in here, typically cuts once, twice, and there again. Now, just to kind of bring your attention to, sometimes it can be slightly different, so I'm just going to show you that. You could have something like this. This kind of an arrangement, and that would have 1 and 2 repeated roots, okay, so 2 the same roots if you like, and also you can have this kind of an arrangement here, in which case it would have 1 real root and then 2 complex roots, and then finally the final kind of shape you can get is something like this, where it kind of just twists like that a single time, and you get that kind of a shape typically when you have just x cubed and no x squared, etc. Okay, so you get that kind of a shape. But these are the most common shapes, but just be aware of the other types you can get as well. So if we're going to sketch something like this, we're going to find where the graph cuts the x-axis, and to do that you factorize and get the roots. So they will, these will be the roots there, there, and there. To find where the graph cuts the y-axis, we let x equal 0. Now, you can do the following if you're asked to do so, but for normal sketching we don't bother with the following. But what you can do is you can find the turning points by letting dy dx equal 0 and solve for x. And then you can find the point of inflection by letting d squared y dx squared equals 0 and solving for x again. But again, we don't bother with points 3 and 4 unless asked to do so. Okay, so here's our first example. We want to sketch the graph of minus x cubed minus 2x squared plus 5x plus 6. Now the first step is to find the roots. Now normal procedure is to try x equals 1, x equals minus 1 and so on. But I'm going to jump. I know that x equals minus 1 is a root, so I just sub in x equals minus 1 just to prove that it is a root. So what we have is minus 1 cubed minus 2 times minus 1 squared plus 5 times minus 1 plus 6. And that's equal to, okay, so minus 1 cubed is a minus 1 with a minus in front. That gives you a plus 1. Minus 1 squared is a 1, and you got a minus 2 then. Then you get a minus 5 plus 6, and that's equal to 7 minus 7, which is 0. So we've proven then that x equals minus 1 is a root. Now if x equals minus 1 is a root, then the factor is x plus 1. You change the sign. Now to get the other roots, we divide into the main function. Minus x cubed minus 2x squared plus 5x plus 6. What do I need to multiply that by to give me that? The answer is minus x squared minus x cubed minus x squared times plus 1 is minus x squared. In my head I change the sign, so you've got minus x cubed plus x cubed is a 0, minus 2x squared plus x squared is minus x squared. I take my first plus 5x down. What do I need to multiply that by to give me that? The answer is minus x. So you get minus x squared minus x times plus 1 is minus 5x. In my head I change the sign, that becomes a plus. You get minus x squared plus x squared is 0. 5x plus 5x is 10x plus, sorry, excuse me, that should be a 1 there, excuse me, minus x, and you get 5x plus x is 6x, then I'm taking down my plus 6, and then you have plus 6, and you get 6 times x is 6x, 6 times 1 is 6, and you get a 0 remainder. So now I know that another factor is minus x squared minus x plus 6, and I factorize this further. So I say minus x squared minus x plus 6 is equal to, okay, the factors of minus x squared are minus x and x. Factors of 6 that combine to give me a 1 are 3 and 2. and I want a minus x, so I put this a plus here and a minus here. That will give me a minus 3x, not quite. I've got a, sorry, it's the other way around, it's a plus here. Okay, so that gives you a minus x squared, minus 3x plus 2x gives you a minus x, and 3 2s are 6. Okay, so my factors are minus x plus 2 and x plus 3. Now to get the associated root, I let them equal to 0. So minus x plus 2 equals 0, in which case x would be equal to 2. Or I have x plus 3 equals 0, in which case x would be equal to minus 3. So my roots are, I had a minus 1 up above, a 2 and a minus 3. Now I need to find out also where the graph cuts the y-axis, and we go y is equal to, we know minus x cubed minus 2x squared plus 5x plus 6, and we let x equal 0, in which case y would be equal to, okay, that becomes 0, 0, 0, and you get a 6. So 0, 6 is the point, the y-intercept of the cubic. So now we're in a position to draw our cubic. Nearly done again. This is a very rough sketch, obviously. All right, our roots are at minus 1, minus 3, and plus 2. And it's a minus x cubed, so it's coming from this area here. And by the way, it has to cross the y-axis at 0, 6, which is somewhere, assume up there. And it goes like this, and like this. And that's our rough sketch. Okay, our next step is we want to get the equation of a cubic if we're given the graph. So by examining the graph below, we're going to find an expression for this cubic polynomial. Now, what we do is we look for the roots first. We know that there's a root at minus 2, and then there's a repeated root at 1. So the function is going to take the form y would be equal to, now for the first one, you change the signs, you get x plus 2. Then you've got a repeated root at x, or at 1, so it's x minus 1 times x minus 1. Now, there may be a multiplier in here. The multiplier is often 1, but we have to check, it may not be in some cases. So in order to find the multiplier, what we do is we look at the point in the graph that we're given at 0, 4. So the x, when the x is 0, the y is 4, so we put that in. K times, okay, x is 0, so you get a plus 2. X is 0, you get a minus 1. X is 0, you get a minus 1. And you get 4 equaling, minus minus gives you plus 1 times 2 is 2, 2k, and then k is equal to 2. So our function is, the k is at 2, x plus 2 times x minus 1 times x minus 1. And again, we should actually multiply that out. So you get, I'm going to multiply in the 2, 2x plus 4 times, if I multiply this out, I get x squared minus twice their product plus the second to be squared. And then you go 2x cubed minus 4x squared plus 2x plus 4x squared minus 8x plus 4. And just multiplying that through, you get 2x cubed. These are cancelling. Minus 6x plus 4. Okay, so just want you to do some work for exercise 1.6. If you do questions, exercise 1.6, if you do questions 4, 13, 15, and 18, I should do it. Okay, thank you.